In this video, we're using the metaphor of the pelvis as a bowl, or as I like to put it, a cauldron. So anatomically, we can already see that the pelvis is quite acting like a bowl. There's the hammock of the pelvic floor muscles, as well as the organs seated on top, and then our other centers all sitting on top of the pelvis in terms of our structural alignment. But I want us to get a felt sense of this bowl as also a place for creativity. It holds our energy in our life. So let's get to know it with our hands. Get your hands ready and bring one hand to the front, one hand to the back, and just get a sense of those sides of the bowl. And you can start to move around the bowl, understanding the boundaries. You might even bring the hand down to feel the pubic bone and beyond. And bringing one hand to the front, one hand to the back again. The front hand is contacting what we're going to call the front quadrant of the bowl. And then the back hand is touching the sacrum, which we'll talk about as the back quadrant. Bring that back hand round to the left, and we have our left quadrant, and the right hand sweeps round to have the right quadrant. So that's how we're going to be referring to it. Place your hands comfortably, and we can close down the eyes if that's supportive. But now we're going to sense into the pelvis with our awareness. And one way we can do this is to have a big old sigh, let the pelvic floor muscles soften. Letting the belly be soft. Often when we're avoiding things or there's resistance, our energy will all be up here because we don't want to be in the honesty of the belly and the pelvis. But if we bring our energy into the belly, into the pelvis, we kind of have to be with what's there. And imagining now that you're centering the heart over the pelvis, the head over the heart, feeling into the pathway between these three centers. Maybe one feels really large and accessible, maybe another one feels a bit more restricted or small. And using the breath just to sweep a current of energy between the three centers, the pelvis, the heart, and the head. So let us come into the energy of the pelvis. We're going to move our energy and our awareness towards the front quadrant that we were touching with our hand at the front of the body. And in Holistic Pelvic Care, which is a framework founded by Tami Lynn Kent, she correlates the front of the pelvis as a place we can make contact with things of fear or moving forward. So as you come into contact with the front of the pelvis, the pubic bone, the front of the genitals, I invite you to contemplate your relationship to fear right now. Does any situation or experience feel most relevant in that quadrant? And just touch upon it lightly, acknowledging it. And then gently move your energy to the back quadrant. Feeling the sensations here. Feeling the space beyond this space, proprioceptive awareness. And the back quadrant correlates with support. Do we feel supported in our lives? What arises for you in this back quadrant as you contemplate support? And gently moving over to the left quadrant of the pelvis. making contact through sensation. And the left quadrant correlates with the energy we're receiving, or this theme of receiving. The left side tends to be more receptive. And if there's energy in our life that we don't want to receive, we can get blocked here because we're blocking from the energy. But as a result, we can also miss out on receiving good energy. So for example, if you're experiencing criticism and you protect yourself from that criticism, it may also be difficult to actually open up to receive praise. What energy are you receiving in your life? And what energy might you want to receive in your life? When you're ready, you can come over to the right quadrant, which is more related to the action we take in the world. So the left is more receptive and the right gives out, uses what's received in order to create. So we can correlate this space to bold action. Where are you taking bold, adventurous action in your life? Or is there a block there, a resistance, a lack of clarity of which step to take? Noticing what's here. Beautiful. Wherever you are in your process, I invite you to find somewhere in the pelvic bowl that feels like the center, so that you're really dropping your awareness into the center of the bowl. And now that we have an idea of the content that's here for us in our pelvic bowl, we have the choice of what we hold in the pelvic bowl. All vessels, all bowls hold things, but not all of it's necessarily beneficial for us. So we can release that if we want to. And the gesture I'll invite us to play with that is a simple rock back and forth of the pelvis. So as we imagine this bowl here, we rock the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and I invite us to imagine emptying out that bowl as if it had water in it, and we're tipping it forward so that the water comes out. And as you play with this movement, you can imagine whatever energy was here for you that maybe you don't want to keep in your pelvic bowl, or if there's something else in your life you sense is stored here and you want to release, let's use this gesture as a way to create that pathway. You can play with that for as long as you like. But whenever we make a vacancy, we have the choice to fill that with something. So as we tuck the tailbone back towards the front body, imagine scooping up the energy that you'd like to keep in your bowl. And remember, we can create from this space, from the energy we have in our center, at the root of our body. So what are you creating? What energy do you need to create your vision? And draw that into the center. And you can play with emptying and releasing if you want this movement to come all the way through the spine, opening the throat. Play with this emptying and filling motion in whatever way feels meaningful for you. Might take the opportunity to have a good old stretch through the whole system. And then eventually we'll find our way to a neutral spine, settling head over heart, heart over pelvis. And we have a beautiful clarified cauldron of the pelvic bowl. We've released what we don't wish to hold there, and we've drawn in the ingredients that we want to use to create and paint our vision of the life. So let's churn this energy now. And I like to think of this as stirring. So imagining that your torso is a big spoon, and we're going to create small circles to start churning the energy here in the creative pelvic bowl. You might use this opportunity to soften the belly or notice any spaces that are holding, that don't necessarily need to be holding, inviting fluidity. You might change directions with your stirring spoon. And this is, I like to think of it as letting the spices warm up. So if you're cooking or you're making a magic potion, you're letting things simmer and start to activate in the warming motion of this small stir. And then you can start to evolve it into a bigger churning, a bigger stirring, almost as if you're scooping off soup that's stuck to the sides of this cauldron, making sure that you get every beautiful bit of nutrients from this stew that you're creating. Stirring around the whole perimeter of your pelvic cauldron. You might even bring in the neck. And then eventually finding your neutral spine once again, connecting to head over heart, heart over pelvis. And now that we've churned the energy in our beautiful cauldron, we get to choose what we create with it. What spell are we creating? And one way we can choose to think of this as using the creative fires in our body. And in Holistic Pelvic Care, it's the ovaries for a female body that hold the fire element in the body. So whatever gender identity you have or whatever body you're in, you can use this in a way that feels applicable to you. You could also simply connect to the right side of the body, which tends to be the more masculine and projective, and the left side, which tends to be more feminine and receptive. So, with that in mind, let us bring the two fires of our creative potential, like big wings, beautiful big wingspan. We can imagine two little creative flames in our palms, and just sensing to them being in union, so they're working together. The feminine isn't drawing away from the masculine isn't drawing away from the feminine. We're not go, go, go to the point that we're depleted, and we're not receptive to the point that we're not in action. See what you can do inside yourself and in your body to get that experience of the two sides working together. And a beautiful way that we can do this is to imagine breathing equally into both sides of the body. Energizing both left and right. And let's take a little side bend, planting the right side onto the floor, the left hand lifts. And let's take a beautiful inhale in and exhale down that left side of the body, energizing it. If you have ovaries, you might imagine sending that breath to the left ovary. Blowing on it like a little coal. And we'll sweep over to the other side, doing the same for the right, sending the breath down to the right side of the body. Bringing those wings back to shoulder height. And let us unite them in Anjali Mudra up above. So the hands come to prayer. Feeling those two fires, the creative potential of the left and right. And drawing them down to the heart in union. I'll invite us to take a little lotus mudra here, so the thumbs and the pinkies stay connected as the other fingers bloom open. And we have another little vessel, a little goblet in front of us now. And let's plant a prayer there in the middle, so something that you want to create with your life, with your creative life force that we've churned and cultivated and clarified in the pelvic bowl. Feel into something that you want to cultivate. Imagine planting it in the vessel of the lotus goblet. And whenever you're ready, you can blow on it gently, using your breath, almost like blowing the seeds off a dandelion when you make a wish, or stoking the coals of your creative fire. Whenever you feel ready, you can bring yourself back to presence and sweep those beautiful blessing energies over you, seal it in however feels intuitive and natural to you. You might hold the body, sweeping it